Look closely at the screen in front of you. This video did not exist in your timeline until you directed your focused attention toward it. You pulled this exact message out of an infinite sea of digital probabilities, simply by observing it into your reality. Today, we are going to explore the deepest, most misunderstood mechanism of the quantum field. We are talking about the observer effect, but not in the way you have been taught. I promise you that by the time these final words are spoken, you will completely shift your understanding of your own power as a creator, and you will know exactly why the universe has been making you wait. Tell me, have you ever felt that no matter how intensely you focus on what you want, you end up receiving the exact opposite? To understand this secret, we must first step outside the boundaries of physical matter and look at the universe through a metaphysical lens. Imagine reality not as a solid, fixed structure, but as a vibrating, infinite ocean of pure potential. This is the quantum field. In this space, every possible event, every relationship, every version of your life already exists simultaneously as a wave of probability. These waves are invisible, waiting in the dark void of the cosmos. They do not become physical events until a conscious observer interacts with them. This means that observation is not a passive act of simply looking at things happening around you. Observation is the most active, dynamic, and powerful force in the universe. When you place your attention on something, you force that infinite wave of potential to collapse into a single, solid particle of reality. You are the architect, and the field is the clay. But the way you mold this clay is entirely backwards to what you have been told. Let us begin by dissecting the grand illusion of the word yes. For years, you have been taught that manifestation requires constant, relentless positivity. You have been told to say yes to every opportunity, to chant affirmations until your throat is dry, and to desperately try to vibrate at the frequency of your desires. But look closely at your reality right now. How often has a desperate yes actually brought you what you truly wanted? The truth is, when you constantly project a yes into the quantum field from a state of lack, you are not manifesting abundance. You are manifesting the very lack you are trying to escape. The field does not hear the syllables you speak. It reads the deep energetic signature behind them. When your yes is fueled by a fear of missing out or a fear of never getting what you desire, the field simply mirrors that fear back to you. It gives you more situations to feel desperate about. This is why the traditional law of attraction so often fails the very people who practice it the most passionately. You are trying to paint a masterpiece on a canvas that is already cluttered with things you do not actually want, but were too afraid to reject. Your consciousness is incredibly powerful, but it is currently bogged down by a million tiny compromises. To clear this canvas, you must understand that the universe is not waiting for your permission to give you things. It is waiting for your command to stop giving you the things you merely tolerate. This brings us to the concept of the quantum no. What happens in the unseen world when you finally refuse to accept a lesser version of your reality? When you draw a line in the sand and say no to a situation that drains your energy, you are doing something mathematically profound in the field of probabilities. You are actively collapsing millions of unwanted timelines. The word no is not a negative vibration, as toxic positivity would have you believe. It is a sword of truth. It is the ultimate boundary of your consciousness. When you definitively reject a job that underpays you or a person who disrespects you, you send a shockwave through the quantum fabric. You are telling the universe, I am no longer a vibrational match for this experience. Because the universe operates on the principle of energetic resonance, it must immediately begin to reorganize itself to match your newly established standard. The quantum field responds to certainty, and there is nothing more certain in the human experience than a true, unwavering refusal. Your no creates a massive void in your energetic field, and the fundamental law of nature dictates that a vacuum must be filled. By forcefully emptying your space of what you do not want, you literally force the cosmos to rush in and fill that space with a higher frequency. Consider the profound difference in emotional weight between acceptance and rejection. When you want something, there is often a subtle underlying energy of begging. You are asking the universe to bestow a gift upon you. You are placing the power outside of yourself. But when you reject something, you are standing fully in your sovereign power. Think about the last time you truly had enough of a bad situation. Think about that exact moment when your frustration turned into total, icy clarity. You did not feel weak in that moment. You felt an absolute, undeniable surge of authority. That feeling of authority is your consciousness stepping into the role of the prime observer. The quantum field recognizes authority. It bows to it. When you operate from the energy of, "I will not accept this," the field registers a massive spike in your electromagnetic signature. Your brain and your heart sync up in a state of high coherence. This coherent signal cuts through the static of everyday life and communicates directly with the foundational matrix of reality. Therefore, your no is heard 10 times louder than your yes, because your no is backed by the unshakable certainty of your soul's boundaries. Let us ground this metaphysical concept in a very real, everyday example. Think back to a time when you were desperately searching for a job. You went on interview after interview, projecting that desperate yes to every single employer, willing to take whatever salary they offered just to feel secure. And what happened? You were met with silence, rejection, or offers that insulted your true worth. The quantum field was reflecting your lack of internal value. But then, something shifted inside you. You reached a breaking point. You looked at a lowball offer and, despite your fear, you said no. You walked away. You decided that you would rather have nothing than have something that devalues you. Do you remember what happened next? Almost like magic, as if the universe was suddenly jolted awake, a much better opportunity materialized out of thin air. You received a call for a position you did not even apply for, or an old contact reached out with a brilliant offer. This was not a coincidence. This was the observer effect in pure, unadulterated action. By rejecting the low-frequency timeline, you instantly snapped your consciousness into a parallel timeline where your worth was already recognized. We can see the exact same quantum mechanics playing out in romantic relationships and interpersonal dynamics. How many times have you held on to a toxic partner because you were terrified of the void? You kept saying yes to bad behavior, hoping that your positive energy would eventually fix them. But in the quantum realm, your continued presence in that dynamic acts as an energetic consent. You are observing that toxic reality, and therefore, you are keeping it alive. The moment you implement strategic rejection, the moment you pack your bags and withdraw your attention from that person, the quantum entanglement breaks. You retrieve your scattered energy. It is a common phenomenon that the very moment you completely let go and genuinely say no to an ex-partner, they suddenly reach out. The energetic cord is severed, the pressure drops, and they subconsciously feel your absence in the field. But the trick is, by the time they reach out, your frequency has already shifted so high that you no longer desire them. Your strategic rejection collapsed the wave of that karmic cycle, freeing you to manifest a partnership that actually resonates with your elevated state of being. But here is where the universe will test you, and you must be prepared. When you begin to practice strategic rejection, the quantum field will send you echoes of your old reality. This is a crucial phase of manifestation that most spiritual teachers completely ignore. Let us say you have decided to manifest wealth, and you say no to poverty thinking. Very shortly after this, you might receive an unexpected bill or a minor financial setback. This is not a punishment. The field is not mocking you. The universe is simply presenting you with a choice point. It is showing you the physical manifestation of your past vibrations as they exit your reality. The field is asking, are you sure about your new standard? Will you react with your old panic, or will you stand firm in your new identity? If you look at that unexpected bill and calmly refuse to let it lower your frequency, you pass the test. You observe the obstacle without absorbing its energy. This neutral observation acts as the final nail in the coffin of your old timeline. The field registers that your no is permanent, and the old wave collapses forever, clearing the path for true abundance to flow into your life. This brings us to the fascinating phenomenon of synchronicity. When you start asserting your quantum no, you will notice an intense increase in meaningful coincidences. Synchronicity is not random chance. It is the direct feedback loop of the universe communicating with your consciousness. It is the field winking at you. Suppose you just ended a draining friendship, establishing a firm boundary. The very next day, you might see repeating numbers on the clock, like 11:11 or 3:33. You might randomly hear a song that perfectly describes your newfound freedom. Or a stranger might say a phrase that exactly matches a private thought you had that morning. These synchronicities are physical evidence that the energetic structure of your reality is actively rearranging itself. The waves of probability are shifting positions because you altered the gravitational pull of your own aura. When you see these signs, do not brush them off. Acknowledge them. Smile at them. By observing the synchronicity, you anchor this new, fluid reality into your physical experience. You are proving to your own brain that your external world is absolutely bending to your internal will. However, we must make a very clear distinction about the emotional signature of a true quantum no. Strategic rejection is not about anger. It is not about throwing a tantrum or shouting at the universe. If you say no from a place of deep bitterness, resentment, or victimhood, you are still energetically entangled with the thing you claim to hate. Hate is just love distorted by fear. It is still a powerful point of attraction. A true quantum no is emotionally neutral. It is the calm, quiet realization that a certain experience simply does not fit you anymore. Imagine trying on a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small. You do not get angry at the shoes. You do not yell at the store clerk. You simply take them off, put them back in the box, and say, "These are not for me." That is the exact frequency you must achieve when rejecting poverty, illness, or loneliness. It is a state of absolute, detached certainty. When you can look at a negative situation in your life and feel nothing but a calm detachment as you mentally walk away from it, you have mastered the observer effect. You have stopped feeding the monster, and it must starve. One of the greatest traps in the manifestation community is the concept of compromise. We are taught to be realistic, to meet the universe halfway, to settle for something slightly better than what we had, even if it is not what we truly desire. But the quantum field does not understand compromise. The field is binary in its fundamental nature. You are either a match for a timeline or you are not. When you compromise, you send a scrambled, chaotic signal into the cosmos. You are telling the universe, "I want the mansion, but I will settle for the studio apartment if it is easier." The field, acting as a perfect mirror, reflects this confusion back to you. It gives you a messy, half-finished reality. Strategic rejection demands that you stop settling. You must be willing to endure the discomfort of having nothing for a short period, rather than accepting something that is out of alignment. By refusing the compromise, you keep the probability wave open and active, forcing the universe to continue searching for the exact vibrational match to your highest vision. Your refusal to settle is the greatest act of self-love, and the field responds to self-love with miracles. To master this, you must learn the lost art of sitting in the quantum void. The void is the space between what you have just rejected and what has not yet physically manifested. It is the waiting room of reality. For most human beings, the void is a terrifying place. When the toxic partner is gone and the new love has not yet arrived, the mind panics. The ego screams that you have made a mistake, that you will be alone forever. This is the exact moment where 99% of people fail. They run back to their old, comfortable misery because they cannot handle the silence of the void. But if you are among the 1% who truly understand reality creation, you will realize that the void is the most fertile space in existence. It is pure, unmanifested potential. When you sit in the void without panic, when you hold your nerve and maintain your inner peace despite the lack of external evidence, you are doing heavy lifting in the quantum realm. You are building the energetic scaffolding for your new life. The longer you can calmly hold your focus in the void, the more spectacular the physical manifestation will be when it finally arrives. Let us talk about how a powerful rejection automatically selects the ultimate yes. You do not actually need to spend hours visualizing every single detail of your dream life. Sometimes, the human mind cannot even comprehend the magnificent things the universe wants to give us. Our desires are often limited by our past traumas and societal conditioning. But when you use strategic rejection, you do not need to know exactly what is coming. You only need to know what you will absolutely not tolerate. By setting a floor, a minimum standard for your reality, you automatically filter out millions of low-frequency timelines. It is like setting a highly advanced spam filter on your consciousness. You tell the field, I will no longer accept financial struggle, disrespect, or physical exhaustion. The field processes these parameters and automatically routes you toward the timelines where those negative elements do not exist. By the process of elimination, the field delivers you into a reality of abundance, love, and vitality. Your no acts as a hyper-intelligent compass, guiding you toward your ultimate yes without you having to micromanage the entire journey. To successfully execute this level of reality creation, you must literally rewire your nervous system. Your physical body is addicted to the chemical cocktails of your past. If you have lived in a state of stress and lack for 20 years, your body is biologically addicted to cortisol and adrenaline. When you suddenly say no to the drama and step into a peaceful, high-frequency timeline, your body will actually go into a form of chemical withdrawal. Your mind will try to create a crisis just to give your body the hit of stress hormones it is craving. You might suddenly start obsessing over an old argument or worrying about a future event that has not happened. This is not the universe punishing you. This is your biology trying to pull your consciousness back into the familiar past. You must observe this biological reaction without becoming it. When the anxiety spikes, you must consciously breathe through it, reminding your nervous system that it is safe to exist in a state of peace. By refusing to engage with the false crisis created by your mind, you impose your quantum will over your physical biology. Have you ever experienced a sudden, intense wave of déjà vu? For a fleeting second, you feel as though you have lived this exact moment before, perhaps in a dream or in another life. Metaphysically, déjà vu is a marker in the quantum field. It occurs when two parallel timelines momentarily intersect. Often, it happens right after you have made a significant choice, particularly a choice of rejection. When you turn down a path that you were historically destined to take, you cause a friction in the fabric of space and time. Your consciousness leaps from the expected, lower timeline into a higher, unknown trajectory. The sensation of déjà vu is your soul's way of recognizing the shift. It is a confirmation that you have successfully bypassed a predictable outcome. The next time you experience déjà vu after setting a strict boundary or walking away from something toxic, do not dismiss it as a brain glitch. Take a deep breath and acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I have shifted. I have collapsed the old wave. I am now walking on a new earth. This conscious acknowledgement solidifies your position in the new, upgraded reality. Let us explore the concept of demanifesting. The modern spiritual community is obsessed with adding things to your life. Add more money. Add a soulmate. Add a successful business. But reality creation is heavily dependent on subtraction. Demanifesting is the conscious act of dismantling the structures in your life that block the light. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of rotting wood. If your energy is tied up in a job you despise, friendships that are entirely one-sided, and habits that drain your life force, there is simply no energetic bandwidth left for the universe to deliver a miracle. Strategic rejection is the tool of demanifesting. It is the art of spiritual pruning. Just as a gardener cuts away dead branches so the tree can bear fruit, you must ruthlessly cut away the dead weight in your life. It can be terrifying to watch structures fall away, to lose people, to watch your old identity dissolve. But this destruction is an illusion. You are not losing anything of real value. You are merely clearing the channel for infinite intelligence to flow through you unobstructed. Think about the concept of the void space in art and architecture. What makes a room beautiful is not just the furniture in it, but the empty space around the furniture. The empty space allows the eye to rest and gives the objects meaning. The same principle applies to your consciousness. When your mind is constantly cluttered with anxious thoughts, desires, and desperate pleas for change, there is no empty space. The quantum field cannot reflect a clear image back to you because the mirror of your mind is smeared with dirt. By actively saying no to mental clutter, by refusing to engage in gossip, by rejecting the daily news cycle of fear, you create vast expanses of empty space within your own awareness. This stillness is magnetic. It acts like a black hole for miracles. The less you forcefully try to control every aspect of your life, and the more you simply reject what is out of harmony, the faster the universe rushes in to fill that stillness with profound synchronicities. Your power lies not in your frantic actions, but in your profound, grounded stillness. We must also address how your words cast physical spells into the field. The phrase "I want" is a dangerous incantation. When you say, "I want $1 million," you are literally decreeing to the universe that you are currently in a state of wanting. You are affirming your separation from the goal. The universe obeys your decree and keeps you in a perpetual state of wanting. Now, observe the difference when you use the power of refusal. When you say, "I no longer accept financial struggle," you are not stating a desire, you are stating a fact. You are making an observation about who you are in this present moment. You are commanding the present reality, not begging a future one. The observer effect dictates that the system must match the observer. By shifting your language from a pleading yes to an authoritative no, you instantly shift your identity from the victim of circumstance to the architect of reality. You stop negotiating with the 3D illusion and start commanding the 4D source. Consider the nature of an echo in a large canyon. If you yell a word into the void, the sound waves travel outward, hit the solid rock walls, and bounce back to you. The quantum field operates as an infinite, multi-dimensional canyon. Every thought, emotion, and boundary you set is a sound wave traveling through the cosmos. But here is the secret that separates the masters from the novices. The walls of the quantum canyon are made of your own beliefs. If you hold a deep, subconscious belief that you are unworthy, your confident shouts will hit that wall of unworthiness and bounce back to you as distorted, chaotic echoes. You will manifest confusion. This is why strategic rejection is so vital. When you reject something, you are actively tearing down the walls of your own limiting beliefs. Every time you say no to being treated poorly, you destroy a brick in the wall of unworthiness. As those false walls crumble, The echoes from the universe become clearer, louder, and infinitely more beautiful. You begin to hear the true music of the spheres, the flawless reflection of your own divinity. It is essential to understand that this path is not for the faint of heart. When you start living by the law of strategic rejection, you will, inevitably, trigger the people around you. Friends and family who are used to the compliant, compromising version of you will feel the sudden shift in your energy. They may call you selfish, unreasonable, or crazy. Do not be alarmed by this. It is basic quantum physics at play. Their reality is anchored to your old frequency. When you abruptly change your frequency by establishing a massive boundary, it threatens the stability of their illusion. They will try to pull you back down into the shared hallucination of mediocrity. This is the ultimate test of your observer status. Will you allow their observation of you to collapse your wave? Or will your observation of yourself remain the dominant force? You must become untouchable in your certainty. You must allow them to misunderstand you. Your job is not to convince them of your worth. Your job is to relentlessly observe your own worth until the physical world catches up. Let us reflect on the concept of time in relation to the quantum field. In our physical illusion, time appears linear, moving from past to future. But in the field, time is a static, overarching geometry where everything happens now. When you manifest through desperation, you are trying to drag a future event toward you across the illusion of time, which requires massive effort and usually results in failure. When you use strategic rejection, you hack the element of time completely. By rejecting the current timeline, you do not move toward a future event. You simply rotate your consciousness slightly to observe a parallel now where the problem never existed. It is not about traveling, it is about tuning. Just as a radio does not travel to a new city to pick up a new station, you simply turn the dial of your awareness. A profound, unshakable no is the mechanism that turns the dial. It snaps you out of the broadcast of suffering and instantly tunes you into the frequency of liberation. The manifestation does not take time. It only takes alignment. As we reach the culmination of this knowledge, I want you to look deep inside yourself and recognize the monumental being that you truly are. You are not a fragile human trying to learn spiritual tricks to survive a harsh universe. You are the universe itself, experiencing a localized point of view. You are a massive, immortal node of consciousness that has forgotten its own magnitude. The quantum field is not your boss, it is not your judge, and it is certainly not a vending machine. It is your faithful mirror. It will give you exactly what you have the courage to demand, and it will keep giving you what you do not have the courage to reject. The secret to everything you have ever wanted is not in finding the perfect yes. It is in discovering the devastating power of your absolute no. When you finally stop settling, when you finally close the doors on every timeline that offends your soul, you will force reality to reveal its most magnificent masterpiece, you. But what if I told you that you are not just living in reality, but you are the very reality observing itself? The grand illusion is separation. You and the quantum field are one continuous motion of consciousness. You are the creator, the clay, and the hands that mold it. By understanding that your true power lies in strategic rejection, you take back the reins of your destiny. You stop being a beggar at the gates of the universe and take your rightful place on the throne as the ultimate selector of your experience. Thank you for opening your mind and allowing this transmission to reach you. If this truth resonated in your bones, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and help shift the collective algorithm. To anchor this quantum shift into your physical timeline right now, I want you to go down to the comments and write, "I am the observer. I command my reality." I leave you with this final question to ponder. What is the one thing you know you need to say a profound no to today? And what synchronicities have you noticed since you started to shift your boundaries?